Did you all hear? The US just nominated a new Africom, Air Force Lieutenant General Anderson, to replace General Langley.
Next step.
Ibil Traoré. Allah sa Allah ko wiyo ni fan dina Allah wala ko itan dina Allah sinana ko beedi.
Welcome to Afriscope TV, where Africa speaks boldly, thinks critically, and sees clearly. If you're watching for the first time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments below. A major shakeup is happening inside the USinAfrica Command Africom. General Michael Langley, the first black US general to head Africom, is out. In comes a new face, but will anything actually change for Africa? And in the Sahel, Burkina Faso's Captain Ibrahim Traoré isn't waiting to find out. He's already preparing for the worst, as the crisis in the Sahel deepens, and foreign powers circle like vultures. Let's break it down. General Michael Langley made history in 2022 as the first black commander of Africom. Many hoped this symbolized a shift in US policy toward Africa, a sign of more respect, partnership, and progress. But the reality? During Langley's watch, US troops withdrew from Niger, while Russia and China expanded their influence across Africa. Terror groups in the Sahel, from ECOWAS to Jamaat Nasser al-Islam wal Muslimin, grew stronger. And instead of African solutions, we saw more talk, more weapons, and more outside pressure. Now, President Trump has nominated General Dagvin Anderson to take the reins. But here's the Pan-African question: new general, same agenda. Leave your thoughts in the comment section.
Did you all hear? The US just nominated a new Africom, Air Force Lieutenant General Anderson, to replace General Langley. Now let me break it down. After General Langley's sharp comments about President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, we all witnessed history as black people all over the world stood up and said enough is enough. They raised a very important question, asking why Africom is always dictating instead of partnering with Africa. Following the global protest, the US sent a special envoy to Burkina Faso. I'm sure most of you are not aware of this. This special envoy landed in Burkina Faso on the 27th of May 2025, just a few days ago, to help rebuild the relationship between Burkina Faso and the USA. I don't know how that is going to work. Shortly after that visit, boom, General Langley was pushed aside, and this new guy on the screen, known for his airstrikes, announced as the new Africom. Now these are my questions. Does Africa really need a US African command? This is my number one question. Number two, is Africom here in this continent for security or for control? Because if you listen to the comments General Langley made about President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, it's going to tell you otherwise. And here is one other important thing I want us to note. Our voices are being heard. If we stand together, as we did on the 30th of April 2025, and say enough is enough, a lot of things are going to change in this continent. They used General Langley to test the waters. Now he came, he made the world to see how awake the Africans are. They pushed him aside and brought their own to finish the job. Africans, we need to stand strong. We need to be at alert. We need to be ready to support our own and be our brother's keeper. Thank you all for watching, and let me know what you think about this video.
The Sahel on fire. As Africom reshuffles its deck, the Sahel region is in crisis. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have rejected Western military partnerships, and they're not just surviving, they're organizing. Under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is rising. He's kicked out French troops, rejected IMF pressure, then formed the Alliance of Sahel States with Mali and Niger. But now, with terrorism surging, foreign media spinning the narrative, and Africom repositioning, Traoré knows the next move could be deadly. So what is he doing? He's fortifying borders, training local militias, strengthening alliances with other African nations, and above all, warning the West, Africa will defend itself, with or without your approval.
Next step. Пожалуйста. Уважаемый господин президент,
Mr. President, friends, we are very glad to see you. And first of all, I would like to thank you once again for making this decision to participate in the commemorative events to honor the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. I remember our constructive and useful conversation back in 2023 when you visited our country for the first time to participate in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. This time, your visit to Russia to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the victory is a great symbol, and it reflects the friendly character of relations between Burkina Faso and Russia. And I would like to mention your contribution, your country's contribution to defeating German Nazism and its allies. Some 30,000 Burkinabe fought with the anti-Hitler coalition forces under the guidance, under the leadership of legendary Frenchman Charles de Gaulle. And now we are united by our joint goal to fight against terrorism and extremism, and we will continue to support the Republic and restoring constitutional and lawful order, to fight against unlawful factions that are still operating in some parts of Burkina Faso. In recent years, we have accomplished great progress in mutually beneficial cooperation in various fields. In the end of 2023, after more than 30 years of hiatus, the embassy of Russia in Ouagadougou was turned operational again, and the economic operation is also important. Even if trade is modest, it's growing, which is a good trend, and we need to preserve it. And we will continue to work together on further strengthening our economic ties and diversify further our trade cooperations. And it was useful to hold economic days of Burkina Faso in Russia that were held in 2024. And it was attended by the high-level Burkinabe delegation led by the Deputy Prime Minister, and we are working now on establishing intergovernmental commission. We have already established a working group to look into that matter, and we will continue to support your country in training personnel in 2025. The quota of Russian state scholarship for Burkinabe nationals was more than doubled, and this year we are ready to receive 27 more students from your country at the state's expense, and in total more than 3,500 Burkinabe received higher education in Russia. Cultural and humanitarian ties also play an important part, and it is assisted by the Russian house that is operating in Ouagadougou since 2024. In particular, they are teaching Russian language there. There is a great potential in cooperation in the field of healthcare and sanitary regulations. Recently, on April 24-25, Madam Popova visited Ouagadougou and discussed the development of scientific and research infrastructure and training of personnel. We also prioritize humanitarian support for Burkina Faso. Last year, we allocated 25,000 tons of wheat free of charge, and this month we are going to send a large supply of other food products to Ouagadougou. We appreciate the support from Burkina Faso on many international platforms, including the UN and other multilateral platforms. A useful format of cooperation is the consultations between Russia and Sahel States Confederation. April this year, such a session was held in Moscow with foreign ministers. There are good prospects in many areas, and we will have a chance to discuss some of them today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mr. President. I hope I pronounced my felicitation properly. For me, it was an honor to be part of these commemorative events devoted to the great victory anniversary, and I would like to thank you for inviting us. It was a great honor for us. And I need to say that during this visit, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about culture, about history, that laid the foundation of the resistance of the Russian people, of its struggle. I learned of sacrifices your people made, and due to these sacrifices, we are free now. And I would like to thank you once again for this invitation. And this meeting allows us to think about what's happening in the world today and to think about the prospects as well. The obstacles that we can see today must not stop us. These obstacles, in some way, they are even an advantage, because despite all the sanctions that were imposed on the Russian Federation by many states, Russia is still holding the leading position internationally, and we understand this. We understand how difficult it is.
Je tiens à dire que j'ai été émerveillé de voir l'enchaînement des engins qui ont défilé devant nous.
And I watched the parade. I watched the soldiers marching in front of us during the parade. I saw the equipment, including the tanks that from the times of World War II, and I saw the modern equipment, and we would like to see the cooperation between our countries developing rapidly, developing swiftly, and acquire new shapes and forms. We thank you for your attitude towards Burkina Faso. Today I visited Mendeleev Institute, and we understand that apart from defense and security, there is another essential field, which is science and education, and we would like to see Russia assisting us in training and educating our youth to help us to develop our own industries, our own enterprises. Machinery, other types of manufacturing, because it's very important for Africa. We believe that terrorism that we can see today is a legacy of imperialism, and that's something that we fight against. If we put an end to this war, if we have a strong army, then we can develop our motherland. This is why we continue to fight. That is why we have this struggle. That's why it's important to train personnel, to educate people. In Africa, Africa needs a lot when it comes to equipment, when it comes to technology and machinery, and there are a lot of expectations in this regard. And that's why we still need to do a lot, we need to work a lot, and we would like to request an assistant, and the most important thing you can help with is this exchanges, transfers of technology, exchange of experience. We need to understand how we can use the experience and the know-how that Russian universities have, and how we can spread it to Burkina Faso, how we can open branches of the Russian universities and Burkina Faso to be more efficient in the way we educate our people, our citizens. This is the essential task that we are faced with. We would like to see Burkina Faso developing, and we would like to see students coming to us to learn various sciences. We can see great young people in the Russian Federation. Among them, there are a lot of researchers, young scientists, and we would like to learn from you. And another important area is military. We have a lot of projects in the field of defense.
We stand with Captain Traore. We stand with Traore because we know that Traore stands for the unity of Africa. We are Traore, and Traore is all of us. If they kill Traore, you must know they would have created another wound in the continent of Africa.
Why this matters to the diaspora? To our brothers and sisters across the world, this isn't just another military appointment. It's about who gets to shape Africa's future. The West is regrouping. China is investing. Russia is maneuvering. But what is Africa doing? If leaders like Traore are ignored or isolated, if new commanders like Anderson bring the same playbook, then Africom isn't about peace, it's about power. Afriscope TV says this clearly: Africa doesn't need new commanders. Africa needs new confidence. The power to defend our people. The wisdom to reject puppets. The courage to tell Africom, you don't command us, we command our future. To General Anderson, if your arrival brings partnership, good. But if it brings pressure, expect resistance. Africa is no longer a playground. It's rising. If you believe it's time for Africa to speak for itself. If you stand with Traore, with unity, and with sovereignty. Subscribe to Afriscope TV. Share this video. Leave your comment below. Do you think Africom's leadership change will benefit Africa? Or is it just another face for the same foreign agenda? This is Afriscope TV, bold, united, unapologetic. Disclaimer. This video is intended for educational, informational, and journalistic purposes only. Afriscope TV does not promote violence, incite political unrest, or endorse any political figure or government. All commentary and visuals are based on publicly available sources, fair use media, and current news events. Viewer discretion is advised. Opinions expressed are for analysis and public interest reporting only. Afriscope TV is an independent platform and is not affiliated with any political party, military, or foreign government.